All right, hello. I see Solid is all right. Hey, Solid. Hello, how you doing? We have three people in here already. That's pretty good. So let's at least go into this a little bit. Okay, so let's see now. Solid was telling me. I guess I was asking about Gelf last because waiting for a flashcast and I saw someone ask a question I was knowledgeable about and answered. Then Gelf sent a reply asking where I had been. Well, Gelf hasn't, even though, I don't know if he's even still subscribed to me or not, but, he was subscribed to me a while back and I even had him as a moderator, but I took him down as a moderator just simply because he hadn't been here in a while. But yeah, as far as I know, he's still kind of on Tug streams a lot. But I haven't really heard from him or seen him or talked to him too much in a while. So let's see. And then Woody says, "Hi, Mike." I responded with, "I listen to the last cast every Saturday, and Gelf and I needed participation in chats more, even though I've never exchanged words with him before." All right. Well, that's kind of good to know. And hey, Woody, I did see you there. I saw that you said hi. Solid just came in, was asking about Gelf, but again, I haven't really. And guess on YouTube he retracted those messages. All right. So, how you guys doing tonight? Said. Okay. So, wow, we're getting people in pretty quickly tonight. So that got four people. So, well, that makes me feel even better because I actually do have some coverage tonight. Let's see, 2, 3, now back down to 3. So, all right. So I'll probably in a moment here, when we get up to about 3 minute mark, I'll probably go over what I'll be going over tonight. So yeah, so let's see. So hopefully everybody's been doing well today. Hopefully everybody had a good day today. As always, I do appreciate any and all likes and shares. That does help with the algorithm and hopefully to get more people in here. So we had, I guess, a peak of 7 people last night, so that was pretty good. With that all being said, of course, we do have 3 people in here, so I'll get right to what. So we got 4 people now. Yay, 4 people. So, anyways, tonight I actually have 12 stories I'm gonna go over tonight. Six comics related, 6 anime related, all from CBR. Probably we'll get to those right away here. It looks like Solid's got something to say here, so I'll see what he has to say. Once that May person also replied to me during a flashcast, even though I've never exchanged words with them. As I recall, May's from everything I've seen, Solid, May's a girl. So just so you know. But it's good to see you back. Hey, and there's Leto. Hey, Leto. Hey, Mike and Solid and Woody. Hey, Leto. Glad you're here. So, as I was just saying, of course, I've got 12 stories tonight to go through. 6 comic related, 6 anime related. They're all from CBR. Let's see. May's a cool person. She's a regular here and there. Yeah, and Leto Solid was just letting me know why he was asking about Gelf last night. The horror. All right, so without any further ado, we're at the 5 minute mark. We got like 5 people in here now, so I think it's about a good time for us to get going on these stories. So without any further ado, I'm going to get started on these 12 stories I'm going to cover tonight. Oh, so, anyways, let's get started here then. Yeah, CBR deciding to bug me about the ad blocker, but of course I'll continue without disabling. Oh, yeah. I don't care about that. I don't know why people I've never spoken to reply to me in stream chat. Well, maybe they want to get to know you. That's usually people talk to people to make connections. That's one of the reasons why people talk to people. Anyways, let's get to these articles. Aftershocks croak mixes nightmares, monsters, and modern dating. The newest Aftershock comic title, Croak, takes weaponized nightmares and mixes them with monsters and modern dating to save the world. Article by Tim Adams, published 13 hours ago. Let's take a look. Oh, there's a guy in a kabuki, what looks like a kabuki mask right there. Whoa, look at those nails. Don't think any of us would surely want to get scratched at those. An upcoming Aftershock Comics book titled Croak promises to mix weaponized nightmares with monsters and modern dating. Oh, this sounds interesting. Croak is from the creative team of writer Paul Tobin, artist Andy MacDonald, colorist DJ Chavez, and letterer Taylor Esposito, with covers by MacDonald and Chavez, and an incentive cover by James Herron. Aftershock describes the title as a unique story of one woman's quest to save the world, if only she could learn the difference between love and monsters. Unquote. So that's an interesting dilemma to have. Discovering the difference between, kind of wondering how this is going to turn out, because croak is usually a word that they, one, of course, it's a term given to the sound a frog makes. It's an oman monopoteia. But also it's a term used for when somebody passes to the next world. Now, here we go. And quote, Croak is about finding monsters in true love and learning to tell the difference. It's a world where dream research has ripped a hole between realities, and now legions of legendary monsters stalk the lands. The only way these dream portals can be closed is if certain people quit having nightmares. Oh, that's interesting. If they find peace and lead character Risa needs to fall in love, unquote, Tobin said. Quote, we're talking true love. Helping her, in parentheses, mostly, is Croak himself. A troll with, quote, maybe, or parentheses, unparenthesed, her best interest in mind. But he's also fond of how she finds and kills monsters, because Croak eats monsters, and he's always ravenous. Oh man, imagine that! Just sitting there and just devouring monster corpses. That's quite grotesque. So Croak, the comic, is Risa's story of trying to navigate a world that's both full of monsters and monstrously bad dates. Oh boy. She isn't sure which she'd rather face, unquote. Oh, that'd be an interesting dilemma for anybody to have. Huh. Do you want bad dates or do you want monsters? Hmm. Let's see. Okay, Leto just said, "Hey, solid. Did you see Nick's flashcast 9 hours ago? I just interact with people I share interest with. Let's see. Well, maybe they want to be your friend. Let them. I mean, like that Eric Andre meme. It's kind of what I was suggesting to do. I watched it up until Flash, RGE, and Tuglip. Hmm. From what I understand, when Nick was having it on his channel, Flash wasn't. Part of the reason why Nick was having it on his channel was because Flash wasn't going to be there. I guess he did go there, huh? Cool. What the hell, Mike? What do you mean, what the hell? That monster noise you did gonna give me nightmare. Well, hey, I can do voices. This article is actually about a comic that's coming out in which the main character is trying to differentiate the difference between monsters and nightmares. So, yeah, and I think I'll be right back. And I think now the sun's down low enough to where maybe I can turn on my light. So I'm going to be right back. Whoa, 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 whoa. Calling from the distance. So I packed my things and ran. Oh, thought I had my mic turned off, but I guess I didn't. Oops. Oh, well, I'm back now, and now we're down to 2 people viewing. Oh, boy. Counter's being screwy again. Y'all still here? Anyways, let's get back to this article here. Quote, comic fans. Fans of love, fans of coming together in the face of nightmare monsters from other dimensions, fans of creating happiness for oneself and others, fans of monsters eating other monsters because it's the right GD thing to do. McDonald said, quote, everyone should pick up this book because in these tumultuous times, we all need to see that we can get through it together. Even if being together means almost being eaten by nightmares. Having a monster give questionable life lessons to your kids and endless horrible dates, unquote. Croak, #1, goes on sale November 10th from Aftershock Comics. Says right here, Croak, #1, $4.99, 32 pages, color 11/10/2021. Writer Paul Tobin, artist Andy McDonald, colorist DJ Chavez, the letterer Taylor Esposito, cover by Andy McDonald with DJ Chavez, incentive cover James Herron, And then here's, I guess, the plot of it. 7 years ago, an attempt to weaponize dreams resulted in holes being punched through the world we know and into the world of dreams. Nightmarish creatures now stalk the land, spouting from and in parentheses and killing um, anyone unlucky enough to dream. The only way to save the world is for certain people to have their dreams come true. Hmm. Which is how Risa Harumi finds herself not only fighting monsters, but forced into finding true love. Monsters and modern dating? It feels like a nightmare either way. And the only help Risa has is a friendly-ish monster named Croak and her preteen daughter, Maki. From Paul Tobin, parentheses, bunny mask, and Annie McDonald, parentheses, I breathe the body, multiple man, comes a unique story of one woman's quest to save the world if only she could learn the difference between love and monsters. Love and monsters! Love and monsters! Which one do you prefer? Love and monsters? Love and monsters? Which one do you prefer? And then here's the cover, I guess. This might be a variant cover right here. Whoa, that's kind of kind of disturbing. There are some panels. And there we go. There's the finish of that story. We look through some of the panel work of it. Let's see what else is going on here. Oh no, I'm not here. Interesting. Yeah. All right, so anyways, let's get ready to move on to the next story then. Let's see now. 18. So we're just coming up on 19 minutes here. We're early on in the stream here. Okay, so here's the next article we're going to read. Incendium to publish Exodus, Tales of the Damned, and produce action figures. Bay Area Metal Forefathers, Exodus, are producing a horror anthology, Tales of the Damned, inspired by the sounds and themes of their classic albums. Article by Jeremy Bloom, published 13 hours ago. So here we go. Horror anthology. There's another. Bay Area thrash metal band Exodus is collaborating with production company Incendium to produce a horror comic anthology and an action figure inspired by its classic tracks. The comics, entitled Tales of the Damned, is a riff-off of Exodus 2004 album Tempo of the Damned. The first issue tells a story about a teenage girl who becomes entranced with a mysterious radio signal called the quote-unquote wavelength. When her older sister follows her trail and enters an abandoned town, she learns that her sibling's disappearance is tied to cursed music known only as the Tempo of the Damned. The issue is written by Ian Eddington, parentheses Aliens and Predator, and illustrated by Luis Guaragna, parentheses John Carpenter's Tales for a Halloween Night. That's somebody that I'm sure that's a creature you don't want to meet in a dark alley at any time. Incendium Exodus. Incendium Exodus. The organist. The first issue of Tales of the Damned sports a cover featuring the horrific ghoulish figure dubbed the quote unquote organist, which of course I'm sure has a double meaning there, playing the organ, in a very classic horror styling, but also, the organist probably somebody who likes to collect organs, like human organs, I would take it. Who appeared on Tempo of the Damned's album art, drawn by artist Ryan Christensen, who has provided art for the likes of Iron Maiden. The organist will also receive his very own action figure. The 5-inch figure features 10 points of articulation and a variety of accessories, including a bat sheet music stand, sheet music, and a candelabra. Quote, I'm super excited to see this project come to life. Exodus and comics go hand in hand, and to see the, in little quotes, organist come to life in book form and as an action figure. Totally awesome, unquote. Exodus guitarist and frontman Gary Holt said, quote, I'm looking forward to reading Tales of the Damned. Let's see. Incendium CEO Lexi Leon echoed these remarks, calling Tales of the Damned a, quote, bloody tribute to the Bay Area legends, unquote. Quote, we're all about myths, monsters, and metal here at Incendium, so this unholy alliance has been a blast, unquote, Leon said. Exodus, originally formed in 1979, are recognized as amongst the forefathers of thrash metal, along with the likes of Anthrax, Megadeth, Metallica, and Slayer. The band's 11th studio album, Persona Non Grata, is expected to release in November, roughly coinciding with Tales of the Damned. Where's your crown, King? Nothing. Where's your stinking crown? From Metallica, right there. Tales of the Damned will be a quarterly anthology series, with the first print edition every issue limited to 1,500 copies and released in a limited collectible format with cardstock covers, glossy pages, and individual numbering. The first issue is available for pre-order for $16.66 from the Incendium website and ships Halloween night, October 31st. The Organist action figure is also um, available for pre-order at $29.95 and ships during the first quarter of 2022. So there we go. There's that story. See if we got anybody else come in yet. We're back up to 3 people. Hello, and got a couple people. Hey, Dave, how you doing, man? Let's see now. The Organist will keep you up. He's so dastardly. Yeah, with his creepy tones, right? Hail Xenu, fellow Tagakins. Hey there, Robert and Dave, welcome to the stream. As always, guys, I do appreciate any and all likes and shares. You can help if you can help me out with that, so we can get some more people in here. That'd be appreciated. So glad you guys are here. And then, of course, Leto saying, "Hey, Dave, what's up, buddy?" And then he's also saying hi to Robert there. Okay. So now the counter has caught up. It looks like we're saying we have 4 people. Hopefully, my anxiety levels. All right, so let's get ready to move on to the next. And for those of you guys who just came in, I'm covering 6 stories tonight. We got through the first. I'm sorry, 12 stories tonight. So that's why we're into this stuff already. Here's the next article I'll be covering. Let's see. DC Webtoons strike a massive webcomics partnership. DC is partnering with Webtoons to create all new standalone webcomics for all readers featuring many of the characters from the DC universe. Article by Tim Adams, published 12 hours ago. And here's, I guess, a web. And they got the Trinity here of Batman, Wonder Woman, and Superman. A new partnership between DC and Webtoon will see characters from the DC universe star in upcoming webcomic series. So rather than I guess since the physical copies are not selling as well, I guess they're going to try their hand at the web. Well, I know they've been doing some webcomics for some time, so anyways, the DC Webtoon collaboration is intended to introduce standalone stories that don't require any previous readings. More details on local language translations will be provided at a later date. Well, yeah, Webtoons, I think, is a Korean company. That's why they were saying that. Quote, "I'm so happy Webtoon is able to work with DC on bringing unique stories to our platform," unquote, said Webtoon US CEO Ken Kim. Quote, "Webtoon is a great bridge to a huge worldwide audience of young comic fans, and DC is home to some of the greatest superhero stories on the planet. Potential to express famous IP through our platform, which is mobile native and focused on ease of access, is super exciting," unquote. Before I get to the next paragraph here, I've got to go off camera here for a moment. I'll be right back. All right, so let's get back to this story here. Quote, DC excited to introduce our iconic characters to a new generation of fans worldwide, unquote, said DC General Manager Daniel Cherry III. Quote, we've been working closely with the Webtoon writers and artists to adapt our characters and stories to Webtoon's mobile format. Our shared goal is to create fun and compelling DC stories that all readers will enjoy. The partnership is yet another example of DC's ambition to meet fans wherever they are and continue sharing DC fandom, unquote. Translation: we want to try another format in so that we can hopefully get back up our sales, and what have you, and across the world because manga is kicking our collective rear ends. Anyways, quote, this collaboration is a landmark for us as we work toward a new age of digital comics in the U.S., unquote, said David Lee, head of content at Webtoon US. Quote, we're so happy to introduce long-beloved DC characters to our service, and we're looking forward to sharing more details soon, unquote. Webtoon is touted as the world's leading digital platform for storytelling, with an average of 72 million monthly active users. One of its most popular titles is Lore Olympus, which recently announced the release date for its second graphic novel volume. Other partnerships include Legendary, POW, Top Cow Image, and more. So a lot of these companies are, I guess, trying to go digital to try to counteract their sagging physical sales. That's how I'd interpret it. Anyways, let's see what else. Robert had quite a bit to say here. Let's see. My hope is that DC unintentionally really gets diverse creators by hiring Asians and South Korean or Japan. The less Los Angeles creators, the better. Yeah, best Western creators. Yeah, yeah. I don't really see that happening. I know. Like Flash has talked a little bit about that. That a lot of the current creators out of DC and Marvel are trying to get more involved with Hollywood than really trying to appease or try to fulfill good comics. S1 digital comics would be great. Or $1 digital. Yeah. And I know of another company that we talked about before, Arcade, and also does a lot of those kind of web comics too that you can go to their site for free. I've done stories on and done read through the reviews on Bounding into Comics from them as well. So anyways, there's a third of 12 stories we're doing tonight. Let's see where are we at. We're making good time. I think up here 34. So let's get ready to move on to the next article. Oh, here's the next article here. I know if Batgoat was here, he probably would not be too happy about hearing about this guy, because Donny Cates is another guy who's kind of somebody who's who's not. Now this is not exactly a follow up, but this has some links to or some carryover from a story we talked about last night. So Donny Cates, Ryan Stegman launched Substack imprint. Announced new comic Vanish. Donny Cates and Ryan Stegman are forming a new Substack imprint called Kids Love Chains Press. Oh, God. Kids Love Chain Press. The home of the new creator-owned series Vanish. Now, we read a little bit about this last night that, on Bounding into Comics that James Tynion the fourth is leading a group of creators from DC, moving over to a creator owned site here. So, anyways, this article is by Tim Adams, published 10 hours ago. So let's take a look and see what this is all about. Actually, there is something I got to do real quick. I'll be right back. Be right back, guys. Oh, okay, we are. All right, so back to this story here. The Venom creative team of Donnie Cates and Ryan Stegman are forming a new Substack imprint along with announcing the first title to publish under the banner. Kids Love Change Press. Oh boy. These guys were all over people, on the right for this kind of stuff. But apparently, these people have some very dark, disturbing minds themselves. Is the name of Cates and Stegman's imprint. You kind of get the impression with such a name that maybe Kate and Stegman might, I don't know, have a bondage fetishism towards kids. I know that's kind of disturbing to have to think about, but it just kind of gives you pause in that. Let's see. I would buy comics if they were that cheap. Webtoons are that price and cheaper. So let's continue with the article here. Kids Love Change Press is the name of Cates and Stegman's imprint, with their new creator-owned comic going by the title Vanish. One of the many goals is the of the imprint is to allow the duo to share their creative process with fans and subscribers, which include, quote, blogs about our daily work life, video chats between the two of us breaking story to scripts, two early sketches, and then inks, colors, letters, unquote. There will also be Substack exclusive variants. Cates noted in his introductory message that he is not leaving Marvel, though subscribers will get to hear his pitches for books he never got the chance to do, such as The Crow, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and Star Wars. Quote, since I was young, I wanted to create something new, have people read it. And here we are, unquote, Stegman said regarding Vanish. Quote, a few months back, Donnie and I sat in my studio and plotted this thing out, and it freaking rules. It's about magic and superheroes. And, well, how about I just show you some art? Here we go, unquote. Cates also revealed he had two more comic announcements to make. First up is a 6-issue underwater horror Western comic called Flood, which teams Cates with Megan Hutchinson Cates. Wonder if that's his wife, maybe? D. Cuniff and John J. Hill. The second announcement is the return of The One You Feed with Dylan Burnett and John J. Hill. Let's see now. Okay, Donnie Cates and Ryan Stegman dropped a cryptic teaser for an upcoming project in June, which may be tied to their new Substack imprint. Other creators to make the leap to Substack include James Tynion IV, which we talked about yesterday, and Ryan Otley. More information on the subscription levels and pitching can be found at Kids Loves Change Press. I guess here are some of the covers of some of the stuff they're doing. All right, so that's the end of that article. All right, so let's see what you guys have said here in the last couple minutes. Oh, wait, we already saw that. And we saw that. Okay. I'll be right back, guys. I just got to step away from the computer for a moment or two. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back now. Let's see. Yeah, we went back down. Well, YouTube says free. As always, guys, of course, I do appreciate any and all likes and shares to help with, let's see if we can get some more people in here, help with the algorithm. So if you guys can help me out with that, that'd be appreciated. So now let's see. I think we got through four of the so we're a third of the way through of all the stories that I'm doing tonight. And we're doing 12. So here's the next one. Let's see. All right, so yeah, keep going back and forth between 3 and 4. All right, so let's get to this next article here then. Um, Jonathan Hickman is leaving X-Men with Inferno's conclusion. X-Men showrunner Jonathan Hickman is departing the fan favorite franchise after Inferno, though that doesn't mark the end of his tenure at Marvel. Article by Tim Adams, published 8 hours ago. So let's take a look here what's going on here. Prolific writer Jonathan Hickman is stepping away from Marvel's X-Men line after the conclusion of the upcoming Inferno event. While Inferno marks the end of Hickman's time as showrunner of the X-Men franchise, this is not the end of his time at Marvel. According to Entertainment Weekly, Hickman is already working on his next big Marvel thing, quote unquote, which should make its debut sometime next year, along with the weekly X-Men series. Quote, "Oh, plans have changed entirely," unquote, Hickman said regarding his initial X-Men plans. Quote, "When I pitched the X-Men story I wanted to do, I pitched a very big, very broad 3-act, 3-event narrative. The first of which was House of X. And while this loosely worked as a 3-year plan, I told Marvel up front that I honestly had no idea how long the first part would last because there were a lot of interesting ideas that I had seeded that other creators would want to play with. And so we left this rather open-ended. I was also pretty clear with all the writers that came into the office what the initial 3-act plan was so no one would be surprised when it was time for the line to pivot." He added, quote, "However, I also knew that I was cooking with dynamite, and it was very possible that what I had written in House of X and the ideas contained within was not actually the first act of a 3-act story, but something that resonated more deeply and worked more like Giant Size X-Men, where it would represent a paradigm shift in the entire X-Men line for a prolonged period of time. So during the pandemic, when the time came for me to start pointing things toward writing the second act event, I asked everyone if they were ready for me to do that. And to a man, everyone wanted to stay in the first act. It was really interesting because I appreciated that House of X resonated with them to the extent that they didn't want it to end. But the reality was that I knew I would be leaving the line early, unquote. X-Men, X-Men. Hickman made his X-Men debut with 2019's House of X and Powers of X with artists Pepe Larraz and R.B. Silva, respectively. The 6-issue series worked in tandem to set up the next era of X-Men stories, relocating the majority of the characters in the Marvel universe to Krakoa, which the mutants turned into a sovereign nation state. Other additions include the creation of 3 new drugs to help humanity, along with a process to resurrect dead mutants. Okay, Marvel recently relaunched X-Men from writer Jerry Duggan and artist Pepe Larraz as the team functions as Krakoa's official superhero team. The Inferno limited series picks up story threads from House of X, Powers of X as Mystique threats to tear down everything Charles Xavier and Magneto with Moira McTaggart, in parentheses, with Moira McTaggart secret, have built. Inferno #1 goes on sale September 29th from Marvel Comics. There we go. So there's that story. So we're about halfway there then, as we got through 5 of the first 12 stories here. Let's see, anything new? No, it doesn't look like anything new is being said right now. Guess people are just feeling like lurking tonight, which is cool. As always, guys, you're always welcome to lurk or converse. Um, and as always, I hope you guys can help with the likes and shares. Do appreciate any and all likes and shares. That does help the algorithm, helps get more people in here. So moving on to the next story here. Joker artist Guillaume March launches slice of life love comic. Laura, Guillaume March's last creator owned work before he began drawing superheroes for DC, is finally getting an English print release. So I guess Guillaume March is, I guess, a French writer, I guess. By Jeremy, article written by Jeremy Bloom, published 8 hours ago. Laura, a slice of life comic by the Joker artist Guillaume March, will launch in November, courtesy of Ablaze Publishing. Blaze. Originally serialized in a newspaper and compiled by Spanish publishing company Dolman in 2006, Laura was Guillaume March's last creator-owned project before the Spanish artist became internationally known for his work on DC books, including Gotham City Sirens, Talon, Batman, and most recently the Joker. So I guess March was maybe a French artist who did his own work. I guess this was one of his own pieces. March has since published his non-superhero book Carmen in English via Image Comics, but a printed English version of Laura has remained unavailable until now. The artist of Batman and the Joker, Guillaume March, Laura, and other stories. Interesting look there. The artist of Batman and the Joker, Guillaume March's Laura, and other stories. It's some interesting artwork here. This does look like an interesting comic here. I mean, if you are into like slice of life stuff like this, and a lot of times we talk more about the superhero genre, but some of these books, when you get into slice of life stuff like this, can be interesting too. Again, if you're into that. Okay. Starring a 20-year-old woman named Laura, March's story delves into the pain of recovering from unrequited love and moving on in life. Quote, Guillaume March tackles heartbreak and young love in a poignant and realistic way in Laura, unquote. Rich Young, co-founder of Blaze Publishing, said, quote, and his artwork on this book is excellent throughout. Guillaume fans are certain to enjoy, unquote. March successfully used Kickstarter to crowdfund a digital English version of Laura in 2016, calling the book an early passion project that he had written, penciled, inked, colored, and lettered himself. So he basically did everything on the comic. He not only drew the comic, he wrote the story, he inked it, colored it, lettered it. Quote, I was lucky enough that a local newspaper was interested in my work and I could serialize Laura doing one page every week. March wrote on Kickstarter at the time. Quote, that was circa 2003, 2004. Soon after the story was collected in a beautiful hardcover book by Spanish publisher Dolman. Print runs in Spain are extremely low, and the return I got never made up for all the work behind these pages. But hey, making comics is my passion, unquote. Laura releases November 3rd, 2021 for $3.99 and features two covers, one by March and a variant by Gerald Perel. Oh, there we go. I believe that was probably the last. Yeah, that was the last comic story I was going to do. So let's see now. Let's see. Wow, we're just shy of the hour mark, so I think we're still making good time here. Let's see. Leto had some things to say here. Yeah, I'm a bit tired. Okay, so that's why you haven't been saying too much. I love the art. Oh yeah, on Laura here, yeah, it's pretty interesting. I can see why DC snagged him. That's cheap. Might have to get that one. Well, yeah, well, it is. It is. I guess technically, it could be considered a reprint because this was a comic that he originally did back in 2006, and it got kind of a run through the newspapers first. Kind of an old newspaper strip, and then then they collected it, made it a hardcover collection. So, anyways, now let's move on to the anime stories. And I've got 6 of those tonight. So we went through 6 comic stories. Now we're going to go through 6 anime stories. And we actually have a couple that revolve around Star Wars. So, Star Wars Vision. So, let's see. Let's see now. Okay. Oh, here we go. Disney Plus debuts first Star Wars Visions trailer in English and Japanese dubs. Disney Plus releases both English and Japanese trailers for the upcoming anime anthology series Star Wars Visions. Article by John Arvdin, published 14 hours ago. So here we go. Disney Plus released a new trailer for the upcoming anime anthology series Star Wars Visions. The trailer peels back the curtain on the 9 unique stories that will make up the series, courtesy of 7 different anime studios. Where's Visions right here? Quote, quote, Lucasfilm is partnering with 7 of the most talented anime studios in Japan to bring their signature style and unique vision of the Star Wars galaxy to this inspired new series, unquote. Vision's executive producer and Lucasfilm vice president of franchise content and strategy, James Waugh, said, quote, their stories showcase the full spectrum of bold storytelling found across Japanese animation, each told with a freshness and voice that expands our understanding of what a Star Wars story can be and celebrates a galaxy that has been such an inspiration to so many visionary storytellers. Announced during Disney's 2020 Investor Day presentation, Visions is an anthology-style anime series that spans across the entire Star Wars galaxy. In July, Waugh explained how the series wasn't beholden to any single timeline, saying, quote, "We really wanted to give these creators a wide creative berth to explore all the imaginative potential of the Star Wars galaxy through the unique lens of anime. We realized we wanted these to be as authentic as possible to the studios and creators who are making them um, um, through their unique process in a medium they're such experts at. So the idea was that this is their vision, riffing off of riffing off all the elements of the Star Wars galaxy that inspired them, hopefully to make a really incredible anthology series unlike anything we've seen before in the Star Wars galaxy, unquote. Star Wars Visions debuts September 22nd on Vision Plus. Oh, wow. So that was a real short, quickie. Hence why I decided, that some of these can be real quick to read. So that's why I went with 12 of them tonight, 12 stories tonight. We're just past hour mark, too. So, yeah, Batgoat's late. Well, hopefully Woody's still here. Anyways, I'm going to go off camera for a quick sec. I'll be right back, guys. Hi. I'm allowed. Hey, Woody. Hi, anyway, so I'm back. So let's get on to the next story here then. I connected. So here's the next story then. Star Wars Visions reveals its all-star English and Japanese speaking cast. So these are basically depending upon whether you're Southern, you will watch the subs and listen to Japanese voices, or if you're a dubber and are planning on listening to the English voices, this is what they're saying is this is who will be in those roles if you if you decide to watch this. So, Star Wars Visions reveals its all-star English and Japanese speaking cast, in addition to its lineup of the anime industry's top studios. Star Wars Visions will feature an all-star cast in both English and it's going to be interesting who they call all-star English dub VAs. It's going to be interesting to see. So the article by Michael Lacerna published 14 hours ago. Here we go. Star Wars Visions will feature an all-star cast both in English and Japanese. Disney officially unveiled the cast for its upcoming Star Wars anime anthology. In English, the cast will feature actors such as Joseph Gordon-Levitt from Inception, Lucy Liu from Kill Bill Volume 1, Bobby Moynihan from Saturday Night Live, these are all stars. Neil Patrick Harris and How I Met Your Mother, Simu Liu from Shang-Chi, Alison Brie from Community, Masi Oka from Heroes, David Harbour from Stranger Things, George Takei of Star Trek fame, Henry Golding, Crazy Rich Asians, and more, as well as the return of Tamura Morrison as Boba Fett. Japanese cast is filled with anime voice acting legends such as Masako Nozawa, who has provided the voice of Dragon Ball's Goku for over 30 years, as well as Aki Otsuka, the voice of Solid Snake, and various other characters from Metal Gear Solid. Japanese cast also features Jujutsu Kaisen's Junya Inoki and Chihayafuru's Asami Seto. The full English cast list is as follows. The Duel, Brian T. Ronan, Lucy Liu, Bandit Leader, Jaden Walden, Village Chief, Atuni Rhapsody, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, J, Bobby Moynihan, Geezer, Tamura Morrison, Boba Fett, Shelby Young, K344, Mark Thompson, Lon. Mark Thompson, of course, you guys probably have heard of, New York-based voice actor. They call him. They has done a lot of work for like 4Kids. Even probably one of his pre-anime voice roles that he was known for was he did some of the voices on Daria, which included, of course, Kevin Thompson, Mr. O'Neill, Mr. DiMartino. So he's a bit of a star. Let's see. The Twins. Neil Patrick Harris as Kare, Alison Brie as Anne, or Jonathan Lippo as B20N. The Village Bride. Karen Fukuhara as F, Nicole Sakura as Haru, Christopher Sean as Asu, Kerry Hiroyuki Tagawa as Valko. Okay, the most famous thing I know Kerry Hiroyuki Tagawa from, he actually back in the 90s, in the first Mortal Kombat movie, he played Shang Tsung in that. So that's the Andrew Kishino as Izuma, Stephanie Sheh, Saku. Many of you have probably heard Stephanie Sheh in such roles as Orihime from Bleach, Hinata Hyuga Uzumaki from the Naruto franchise. Probably the two most well-known stuff she's been in. The Ninth Jedi. Kimiko Glenn as Kara, Andrew Kishino as Juro, Simu Liu as Zima, Masioka as Ethan, Greg Chun, Rodin. Greg Chun, who's, of course, the voice of Beast Boy in the Teen Titans cartoon. Neil Kaplan as a narrator, who's done some work on like Transformers Robots in Disguise, among other things. And Michael Saturna class, as Henjin. Mikestand Turner Class, of course, was the guy who started up NYAV Post. He was, of course, Sasuke. He was Sasuke Saratobi in Sengoku Basura, the Funimation dubs. He's done a lot of work out of New York, all over the place. 2B1, Jaden Waldman as 2B1, and then Kyle Chandler as Mitaka. The Elder, David Harbour as Taijin. Jordan Fisher as Don. James Hong as the Elder. Lop and Ocho, and Cathcart. Lop. I wonder if she's related to James Carter Cathcart, aka Jimmy Zappi from New York. Hiromi Dames as Ocho. Paul Nakuchi as Yasaboro, and then Kyle McCarley as Imperial Officer. Let's see. Kyle McCarley, I know he was the guy who ended up taking over Iruka Umino's voice when they made a transition to Boruto, the Boruto dub. Aka Kiri, Henry Golding as Tsubaki, Jamie Chung as Misa, George Sakai Censure, Keone Young as Kama Chachi. Keone Young, probably the most well-known role I think some of you might have known him from would have been as Zoltar in the Sandy Frank dub of Science Ninja Team Gatchaman, better known to American fans as Battle of the Planets. He was the guy who basically the main antagonist of Battle of the Planet. And Lorraine Toussaint as Masago. Lorraine Toussaint was the African-American actress in Any Day Now. So the full Japanese cast, and I'll go through these a little quicker. The duel, Masaki Terasoma, Akino Watanabe, Yuko Sanpei. Then in Tatuni Rhapsody, Hiroyuki Yoshino, Kosuke Goto, Akio Kaneda, Masaya Fujita, Henri Katsu, the twins, Junya Inoki, who they talked about was the guy who I guess was one of the characters from Jujutsu Kaisen, Ryoko Shirahashi, Tokuyoshi Kawashima, and I've seen that name quite a bit too. So let's see, The Village Bride, Asami Seto, Megumi Han, Yuma Uchida, Takaya Kamikawa, Yoshimitsu Shimoyama, Mariah Issei, The Ninth Jedi, Shinatsu Akasaki, Tetsuo Kanao, Shinichiro Miki, Hiromu Mineta, Kazuya Nakai, Akio Otsuka, Daisuke Hirakawa, 2B1, Masako Nozawa, Tsutomu Isobe, The Elder, Takaya Hashi, Kenichi Ogata, Yuichi Nakamura, Lop and Ocho, Seiran Kobayashi, Risa Shimizu, Tadahisa Fujimura, Taisuke Nakano, Akakiri, Yu Miyazaki, Lin Cho, Wataru Takagi, Yukari Nozawa. The anthology anime series will feature shorts created by some of Japan's top creators and animation studios, including Studio Trigger, though in parentheses, Kill La Kill and Promare. Production IG, as everybody knows, Ghost in the Shell. And Science Saru, The Night is Short, Walk on Girl. Studio Trigger head and Fooly Cooly director Masahiko Otsuka has previously hinted that the project might be his final work. Star Wars Visions will debut on Disney Plus September 22nd. There we go. So that one took actually quite a bit longer there. Hopefully we can still get through a lot of the articles here. We still got 4 more to go. I'm pretty sure I can get through those. Let's see how much time that took. Read all that. Wow, we're already at hour 16. So we had one quick one and then one long one. Wow. Hey Woody okay. I wander around a little bit, but I lurk and listen. All right. Jabba the Hutt will be played by herself, aka Monica Rial. Yeah, that big kind of gooey thing, right? Only problem is that Monica's got too high a voice to play Jabba as a voice. Jabba, I think, is a lot more deeper. Okay, so here's the next article we're going to read through here. Evangelion voice actors reflect on the series' end. And I'm kind of wondering, of course, if they're talking about the English voice actors or the Japanese voice actors, but I guess we'll soon find out. The voice actors for Shinji, Asuka, Rei, Misato, and Mari released messages for fans following the international debut of Evangelion's finale. I imagine it might be let's see. Article by Michael Lacerna, published 12 hours ago. So let's take a look here at this. Okay, so yeah, the Japanese cast. The Japanese cast of Neon Genesis Evangelion, most of whom have been with the series since its 1995 debut, addressed the franchise's fans in a series of messages which were posted online following the international debut of the series' grand finale, Evangelion 3.0 plus 1.01, Thrice Upon a Time. The messages were published on the Japanese Amazon Prime Video Twitter account. The first and longest of the messages was from Megumi Ogata, a voice actor whose career spans 3 decades on shows such as Sailor Moon and Yu Yu Hakusho, and yes, I've seen that name around a bit, and who is best known for her performance as a series' central protagonist, Shinji Ikari. Quote, I am truly happy to finally present the final story of Evangelion to all of you, unquote, Ogata wrote, adding, quote, my sincere gratitude to all the people involved and the long-awaited Eva fans long-awaited Eva fans around the world, unquote. Ogata discussed how the series has evolved and expressed her hope that Shinji's story will be inspiring for viewers, saying, quote, the latest animation technology is utilized, yet the theme remains simple and universal. An ordinary 14-year-old boy falls and stumbles over, but manages to move forward with help from people around him. It's a very Japanese film, but I believe that this work goes beyond the borders. When Shinji tries to stand up, you may feel joy and see a light of hope, but in the process, you might experience pain with him. Hopefully, you can enjoy the process as an exciting experience for yourself, unquote. Megumi Hayashibara, who plays Rei in the series, and has had an equally storied career on other shows such as Cowboy Bebop, Slayers, and Pokemon. Yeah, she's been around quite a bit. I've seen her name also, and she also does a lot of songs for a lot of series too. Um, what was another one that she was involved with? I can't think of it right now, but um, anyways, maybe I'll think of it later. But anyways, also released a statement. Quote, no one could have imagined that Evangelion would launch worldwide when the TV series Neon Genesis Evangelion started in Japan 26 years ago, Hayashibara said. Quote, please experience what Evangelion means to you, regardless of borders and language, unquote. True to character, Yuko Miyamura, who voices the fiery Asuka, delivered a quick and terse message. Quote, if you are going to pause the movie to go to the bathroom, what kind of idiot are you? Oh boy. Go to the bathroom before you start watching, unquote. Oh my goodness. And of course, you know what I've been talking about quite a bit here too. When ADV, of course, did the dub of Event, Tiffany Grant was the voice of Asuka. Okay, and what we've been talking about through Poopy Films and some of the other like guys who've asked about that. Tiffany Grant, of course, is the one that ADV in the Houston area usually brings in to do German characters like Asuka Langley Soya from Evangelion here, Satella Harbin Hest from Harbin Help from Chrono Crusade, Haruka from Sister Princess, and even though I don't think this is a German character, more of a French character, but she was also I think her name was Athena in or Altena in Noir. Anyways, the voice actor joked before adding, quote, I am also very happy that we can enjoy watching Evangelion 3.0 plus 1.01 thrice upon a time at home, unquote. Maya Uchida, who joined the series with the second film in Rebuild of Evangelion series and fills the role of the enigmatic Mari Illustrious Makinami, delivered a short message, once again refusing to reveal any of the secrets about the still mysterious character. Quote, I feel incredibly honored to join the globally beloved Evangelion series as a voice actress, unquote. Uchida stated simply. Kotono Mitsuishi, who played the role of everyone's favorite millennial Misato Katsuragi, expressed her gratitude to the series and its creator, Hideaki Anno. Quote, each second of dubbing this movie was precious to me, unquote. Mitsuishi said, I am grateful, quote, I am grateful to director Hideaki Anno for creating the best scenes for Misato Katsuragi, unquote. Amazon also posted messages from Yoriko Yamaguchi, who played Ritsuko Akagi, and Akira Ishida, who played the role of Kaworu Ishida, on his Twitter. Those statements, as well as the full messages from the previously mentioned cast, can be read here. Evangelion 3.0 plus 1.0, Thrice Upon a Time, is now available for streaming on Amazon Prime Video. The previous three films in the Rebuild of Evangelion series are also streaming on the service. The original 1995 Neon Genesis Evangelion TV series, as well as the two follow-up movies, are all available for streaming on Netflix in North America. The original series is scheduled to be re-released on DVD and Blu-ray sometime before the end of 2021 by distributor G-Kid. Oh, there we go. We go that one. So we're almost done. So we got like 3 more stories to do here. There's going to be the next one. Before I get started with this, let's check on the time and check on a few other. And I see there are a few comments that have come in. Let's see now. An hour 26. So Solid was responding to Leto here. Hey Leto, what's the deal with people who subscribe to channels with no content on them? Yeah, that is kind of odd. And why subscribe to something if they're not gonna? But anyways, moving on to the next story here. Mushoku Tensei Part 2 gets release date teaser image. The second part of the isekai anime series, Mushoku Tensei, has revealed its premiere date alongside a new preview image. Article by Michael Lasana published 9 hours ago. So here's some cover art for it, or here's some of the art from it, or a picture of it. The popular isekai series Mushoku Tensei will return on October 3rd. The release date for part 2 of the anime series was revealed on Twitter by the official Mushoku Tensei account, along with a new preview image that showcases all of the show's returning characters. The first part of the series aired in early 2021, and the second part of the series was originally scheduled to debut in July before being delayed due to unspecified reasons. The original parts, cast, and crew will reprise their roles for the second part of the series, including director Manabu Okamoto, who previously worked on the series such as Carol and Tuesday, and regarding Zero. Studio Bind, a relatively new anime studio that was spun off Studio White Fox, in parentheses regarding Zero and Steins Gate, will once again return to handle animation production. Here's, I guess, the Japanese. A cat girl in there. You got a tall guy with some kind of strange raptor weapon. Mushoku Tensei tells the story of a middle-aged loser who is reincarnated into a fantasy world after he dies, saving somebody else's life. Reborn with his memories of his previous life intact, the newly named Rudius attempts to avoid the mistakes of his past life and uses the second chance to become a hero in this new world. The series tells the story of Rudius' entire new life from his early childhood to his first steps as a budding magician, eventually builds up to his conflict with a god. The series began as a novel by author Refugin na Magonote, which was later adapted into a manga and an anime series. The series has received a mixed reception from critics. Some have decried the series for formulaic premise and Rudius's initial misogynistic behavior, while others have argued that the series represents one of the better executed takes on the isekai genre, and that a key part of Rudius's character arc involves him growing up and denouncing his initially more repulsive attitudes. Regardless of the reception, the series has become one of the more popular franchises in Japan, with the light novels making frequent appearances in Japan's Oricon sales charts. The first part of Mushoku Tensei anime series is currently available for streaming on Hulu and Funimation. The light novel is localized in English and distributed internationally by Yen Press. Uh, there we go with that one. I think we might have one or two more to go here. Let's see if there's anything new. Let's see. They stream on Twitch and link their no content. I link their no content YouTube, or they just like the person from streams when they chat with each other. Why, you ask? Now we're down to one person viewing. According to the counter, anyways, the counter being screwy. And just to let you guys know, tonight Nick is streaming in about 30 minutes. Well, I guess 28 minutes now. Whiskey review, Jura 7, Wood, ranting about weirdos, OAN, liars, slate, and more. So that's, if you're into what Nick is going to be talking about tonight, I guess you'd find that cool. So let's see. Oh, where are we at on time wise? Hour 33. So anyway, so let's see. How many more do I have here? So yeah, 1, 2. So I got 2 more stories here that should go pretty quick. So here we go. Lupin the Third to get isekai manga spinoff. Japan's most famous thief is escaping into the most crowded manga genre as a Lupin the Third revels, and isekai spinoff is in the works, by Michael Lacerna, published 7 hours ago. A Lupin the Third manga spinoff has been announced that will blend the iconic Thief's Annex with the premise and stories of currently super popular isekai genre. So basically, they're now going to take the anime's most popular thief and send him off to another world. That sounds like a very interesting premise. As reported by Anime News Network, the new manga entitled Lupin the Third, Neighbor World Princess was revealed in the 9th issue of Akira Shoten's Young Champion Retsu magazine. The manga will begin serialization in the weekly Young Champion magazine on August 26th, so towards the end of this month here. Let's see. In fact, 9 days from now, so next Thursday. The manga will reportedly feature a quote-unquote summoning story, though it's not clear if Lupin is being summoned to another world or if the titular neighbor world princess is instead coming to Lupin's. The series will be written by Yosuke Saike, who previously worked on the comedy isekai manga Mukashi Yusha de Ima wa Hone, in parentheses, a skeleton who is brave, and will feature art by Keiaki Uchi, who previously um, provided the art for the sports manga Basket no Megami Sama, also known as B-Ball Goddess. The spin-off will be the latest entry in the long-running Lupin the Third franchise, which was first created by Monkey Punch and published in 1967. The character of Lupin the Third is meant to be the grandson of a famous literary thief, Arsène Lupin, who was created by French author Maurice Leblanc in 1995. In 1905, sorry. Monkey Punch's Lupin travels the world stealing valuable objects with the help of his associates. Expert marksman Jigen, the classically trained swordsman Gaimon, and the femme fatale Fujiko Mine. The series has been adapted into anime multiple times, starting with a TV series in 1971. The most famous animated work to come from the franchise, The Castle of Cagliostro, was released in 1979 and was the first feature-length film directed by Studio Ghibli auteur Hayao Miyazaki. Lupin is considered to be one of the most influential anime and manga series of all time, and has been cited as a direct inspiration on everything from Cowboy Bebop to Fooly Cooly to Metal Gear Solid. The latest anime adaptation, Lupin the Third Part 6, is scheduled to debut in Japan this October and will mark the 50th anniversary of the TV series. 50 years. That's incredible. Anyways, let's see where we're at. We got one more story to go for the night here. We're at hour 37. I hope everybody didn't leave me. I mean, according to the counter, we've only got one person viewing. I know people are lurking, but hey, let me know you're here if you are. 38. Yeah, we made good time tonight with these articles. And I do appreciate any and all likes and shares. It does help out with the algorithm, so thank you guys. So, and Leto just said he's here, so let's try something here, see if this helps things out a little bit. I hope everybody's enjoying the content at least. So we got one more article to go through. Okay, so here's the last main article of the night tonight. Komi Can't Communicate releases first anime trailer and more. A new trailer for the upcoming anime, Komi Can't Communicate, provides new details about the series cast and the premiere date. Article by Haley McCullough, published 7 hours ago. A new trailer dropped for the upcoming television anime adaptation of Tomohito Oda's Komi Can't Communicate. Premiering October 6th in Japan, Komi Can't Communicate features several veteran voice actors, including Aoi Koga. In parentheses, credits include Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba, the movie Mugen Train, A Certain Scientific Accelerator, as a titular Komi, Gakuto Kajiwara from Black Clover and Cells at Work as Hirohito Tadano, and Rumi Okuba from How Not to Summon a Demon Lord, and Mob Psycho 100 as Omoharu Naka. Komi Can't Communicate tells the story of a timid wallflower, Tadano, who tries to help popular girl Komi overcome her awkwardness and make 100 friends. Ayumu Watanabe, from After Rain and Children of the Sea, is the chief director for the anime, with Deko Akao from Noragami and Snow White with the red hair overseeing the series composition and and Atsuko Nakajima from Rama One Half and Tokyo Ghoul designing the characters. Anime's ending theme song is titled Hikare Nochi, and will be performed by Kitri. Oda originally published Komi Can't Communicate in Weekly Shonen Sunday in May 2016, after first publishing a one-shot version of the story the year prior. Viz Media is currently releasing the English version of the manga, published the 14th volume on August 14th. This past Saturday, I believe. While Komi Can't Communicate anime will premiere on TV Tokyo in October, a live-action adaptation of the manga is scheduled to debut on September 6th on NHK General. And that's it for the main stories tonight. Hope everybody enjoyed all of those. Drexel Lord of Simpson Cups is here. So let's see what he has to say. And Drexel, Lord of Simpson Cups, with a thumbs up. Thank you for that. Always, I do appreciate any and all likes and shares. That helps with the algorithm. Get more people in here. Hey, Drex. You're early. Just been working on stuff while listening. Okay. What you working on? So we got... Okay. I'm glad you're listening in there. So now we're at an hour 42. So we made good time getting through 12 articles. I think a record for me, reading 12 articles in a stream. That's got to be a record. As it does seem that people are a little bit, I guess, lurkish tonight, and people are not quite as talkative. I think it might be a good time to start wrapping up. So, are you guys ready for this day in Nietzsche history? Wrap it up, Nietzsche. All right. So yeah, because it does seem like a bit of a slower night in terms of the energy level. So maybe I will just go ahead and wrap things up, and just Drexel just kind of, let's see what he has to say. Setting up a ceiling fan been frustrating because I can't figure out why it's not turning on, despite having the right wires connected. Keep having to take it back down, check for issues, put it back, yada yada. All right. So, anyways, guys, as I said, I know people were a bit more lurkish tonight. Energy is a little bit lower, so I guess it's a good time to start wrapping up. We did it, So, with today being Tuesday, August the 17th, 2021, let's go ahead and take a look back at this day in each history and see what we have for tonight. Okay, so we got 3 items tonight on that regard. And before I do that, okay, you'll figure it out. So, anyways, all right, so the first item we're going to look back to, we're going to go back 30 years ago today, as on this date, 30 years ago today, up in Portland, Oregon. Billy Jack Haynes, who was known for his time in the WWF, known as a master of the full Nelson, would win the vacant NWA Pacific Northwest heavyweight title in a full Nelson challenge over Steve Dahl. Now, some of you would know Steve Dahl as Stephen Dunn from from his later work in the WWF as the tag team, as one half of the tag team of Well Done with Timothy Well, who was known on the independent circuit as Rex King. So on this date, 30 years ago today, Billy Jack Haynes would defeat Steve Dahl to win the vacant NWA Pacific Northwest heavyweight title in Portland, Oregon. So there we go with that. And here we have another situation where 1991 is just so nice that we're gonna hit it twice. As also on this date in 1991, a pup named Scooby-Doo would complete its run on Saturday mornings. On this date in 1991, a pup named Scooby-Doo would conclude its first run episodes on Saturday mornings. It was part of ABC's family, Saturday morning lineup in the from 88 to 91, I believe. So, on this date in 1991 as well, a pup named Scooby-Doo would come to an end. Would still be run in reruns, of course, but it'd finish its first run on this date in 1991. So with that and one more piece of niche history to go through here, on this date 10 years ago in 2011, on this date in 2011, the 60th and final issue of the second volume of Justice League of America would go on sale on this date in 2011. The article titled, or the story titled Adjourned, was written by James Robinson, penciled by Daniel Sampere, inked by Wayne Faucher, lettered by Rob Lee, and colored by Andrew Dalhouse. So, on this date in 2011, the 60th and final issue of the second volume of Justice League of America would complete its run. So anyways, guys, I thank you guys for being here tonight. I appreciate all the likes and shares. Hope you guys enjoyed the content tonight. As we wrap up here, I hope to see you all back tomorrow night. A couple of reminders, of course, Friday night will be the historical comic retrospect. Backo and I will be taking a look at Centaur comic that went on sale in March of 1938. Also coming up on Labor Day here in the States, Monday, September 6th. That will be our next open mic night. So I hope you all will be here for that as well, ready to contribute. And with that, guys, I will bid you all a adieu and good night. And I hope to see you all back here tomorrow night. Bye.